Salespeople are among some of the highest paid people in our society. Yet there are salespeople barely making ends meet, barely making enough money to pay their bills. Why are there salespeople making high income, earning very high income versus salespeople who earn low or no income? What is the difference? Today I'm going to teach you 3 powerful factors that will affect you, how much you earn, how much you bring home, how much income you generate as a salesperson, as a closer, as a sales professional. If you want to increase your income, this is the most important video that you'll ever watch. The very first factor, that is ticket size, transaction size. You see, one of the reasons why I specialize in high ticket sales, meaning selling premium product or service, because that affects how much money you make as a closer. Think about this. If you're selling something for $100, you need to make a lot of sales to earn 6-figure or even 7-figure income as a closer. And yet if you are selling something for $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, even $25,000, even $100,000. You don't need to make a lot of those sales to make a very, very good income. You see, to become a highly paid sales professional, you need to consider what you are selling, what is the ticket size. Let's say if you're getting paid based on commission, let's say your commission is 10%. If you're selling something for $1,000 and you make 10% commission, you're making $100. You need to talk to a lot of prospects to make any kind of significant income. Yet if you're selling something for $10,000, $20,000, let's say $10,000, and you're making 10% commission, you're making $1,000 a sale. You just make a couple sales a week, you'll make $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month. See, you have to consider ticket size. Next, let's say assuming you are selling high ticket like I do. The next thing is what I call lead flow. Lead flow. Now, as a salesperson, I don't care how amazing you are as a closer or how high your closing ratio is. If you're not talking to enough prospects, guess what? You're not gonna get paid, right? The consistency and the quality of the leads is extremely critical to how much money you earn. So lead flow, I want you to think about in terms of sales. There are 2 types of salespeople. You have first what I call prospectors. They go out there and they do outbound, they do cold calling, and they are doing prospecting. Maybe in some cases, they are the appointment setters. Those type of sales professionals, they will never make a lot of money because that's not where the money is. And then you have what I call the closer. They are the ones who goes in and they close the deal. They are the ones who goes in and make it happen. They are the rainmakers. The closers within the sales world, they are the ones who make the most amount of money. Because guess what? You don't make money prospecting. You don't make money because you get a lead. You make money when you close a sale. I want you to think about this. Imagine that you are running a relay race with Usain Bolt, okay? And he's running, you are on his team. And as he runs, he hands you the baton. And you finish, you take the baton and you finish, and you cross the finish line, right? And right there, you're on the same team against any other teams. So you and Usain Bolt on the same team. I want to ask you this question. When you take that baton and you cross that finish line, who gets all the glory? Who gets all the applause? Who wins? Think about that. Now, in the business world, in the sales world, there's so many companies out there that they are training for the race, they are conditioning for the race, they are doing the marketing, they are doing the branding, they are doing the lead generation, they are doing the funnel, they're doing all these things. And yet at just the last 1%, the last meter, they need someone, a closer, to come in to help them finish and cross their finish line. And that's where you come in as a professional salesperson. That when you come in there, you help them cross their finish line. Guess what? Here's what they say. Our prize money is $10,000. I want you to have $1,000 of it. I want you to have 10% of it. That's what a closer does. Even though they have done 99% of the work, you come in, you do the 1% that matters. You do the 1% that makes all the difference in the world, and then you get compensated very, very well. So lead flow, consistency, quality. Where are you at? Are you the salespeople? Are you the salesperson that just helps them with prospecting and do the first 10%, 20%, or 30%? Or are you the salesperson that comes in and help them do the 1% that matters? This is what I teach. That's what high ticket closing is all about. You come in there and you go and help them do that last 1%. You help them cross that finish line. Last, you have closing ratio. Now, when it comes to closing ratio, it depends on what you do. A lot of people, they talk about sales. Oh, sales is a numbers game. You got to talk to a lot of people. Smile and dial, man. You talk to 100 people, 200 people. You get enough no's, you'll get some yes. You know what? That's the old model. That model sucks. Even it works, it is draining, it is exhausting. Why do you want to do it that way? So instead of closing 1 out of 100, because you have to understand, as a sales professional, as a closer, your most valuable asset is your time. And your time is limited. You only have 24 hours a day, and you're not on the phone 24 hours a day, if you and I are honest, right? You're lucky if you're on the phone 8 hours a day, even 10 hours a day. Let's say you work really, really hard. You are exhausted by the end of the day. So if you're selling high ticket, right, and you are selling something that's at a premium price, you don't need a lot of transactions. You don't need to make a lot of sales to make very high income. So I want you to think about this piece, closing ratio. Instead of closing 1 out of 100, what if you close 1 out of 10? What if you close 1 out of 8? What if you close 1 out of 5? You see how that would affect how much you earn as a salesperson? So those 3 factors, if in terms of closing ratio, instead of doing the prospecting, you're closing for a company, you're closing for an entrepreneur, you're closing for a product and service that nobody wants, or you're talking to leads and prospects that are not properly qualified. Let me give you a model. This is what I do. This is how I make my living. This is how I make my fortune. Pick company, influencer, partner, entrepreneur, where they've already got their marketing in place. They are generating leads. They've got a strong brand. They have a consistent lead flow, and they are selling high ticket, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, 50,000 and up. And they're willing to give you a nice commission, commission chunk. And from there, instead of you outbound and doing all this outreach, have them create a process where they are generating leads and people are booking appointment with you. So instead of doing outbound, you're doing inbound. Every single call every single prospect that you talk to, they are pre-interested and pre-qualified and pre-motivated. Of course, your closing ratio is going to be high. Once you have those 3 things together, that's how you become the highest paid salespeople in our society. And that's the model that I teach. And that's what I call the high ticket closing model. If you want to learn this, if you want to know how I do what I do, if you want to know how I've trained thousands and thousands of students now in over 120 countries, click a link below or somewhere here. Join me for a 2-hour masterclass. If you find value from that 2-hour class, you can join us for a 7-week intense training from the comfort of your own home. I promise you, if you learn this skill, your life will never be the same as a salesperson, as a closer. And I'll see you in class.